All right, boys and girls, you've done a really nice job with Chapter 3, but we're going to get ready to do a review before we do the test. Grade 4, Chapter 3 review. In Chapter 3, we learned about multiplying two-digit numbers. So the first thing I want to do is review with you your vocabulary for this unit. Let's make sure we understand the words and how to use them and put them into our answers. All right, boys and girls, here's your vocabulary for Chapter 3. These are some of the words that we're going to want to see in some of your writing as you are explaining your responses. Certainly the concept of compatible numbers. We know these are numbers that are easy to compute mentally. Who's going to compute these mentally? You are. So you're going to choose numbers that you can work easily with to compute mentally, whether that's multiples of 10 or how you take apart a factor into its two addends. It needs to be a compatible number that you feel comfortable working with. The associative property of multiplication. Some of these are reviews for us. The property that states that when the grouping of factors is changed, the product remains the same. We did this when we took apart our factors and we placed the factors in parentheses using addends. The first few models that we did, the box models, where we took apart the number 18 into 8 plus 10, or 9 plus 9, that was using the associative property of multiplication. The commutative property of multiplication, we know that that allows us to change the order of factors so that we can place factors that we can comfortably multiply together in an equation, and then we can continue with the work. We've done that quite often, so please make sure that you understand that. Estimate. Once again, that's to find a number that is close to the exact amount, and we have been using rounding as one of our methods of estimation. We have also been using the concept of benchmarks. When we think a product, the exact product would fall between which two benchmarks on a number line. Make sure that you are clear on those concepts. We've used those not only in Chapter 3, but in Chapter 2. So we are continuing with that. Certainly our partial products. We know that partial products is a method of multiplying in which the ones, tens, and hundreds, and continuing on, are multiplied separately, and then the products are added together so we get a total sum. We've done that quite a bit in Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. We know that the word product is the answer in a multiplication problem, and we will want to see some of these words used in your responses. The last one is regrouping. To exchange the amounts of equal value to rename a number. 18 can be renamed as 10 plus 8 or 9 plus 9. Regrouping. That is one of the ways that we can allow ourselves to exchange values and rename a number so that we can do our operations easily. Okay, let's move on to the next step. All right, one of the things that we talked about during the course of Chapter 3 was the use of the area model to represent the product of a two-digit number. So I have the example of 14 times 14. So I'm going to go ahead and draw out an area model. And what I want you to do is I want you to think about the size of the rectangles within the larger rectangle. They should really kind of be reflective of how large the partial products and that kind of supports your understanding of partial products. I also want you to understand that this model will utilize the distributive property, and that's an important concept as we are continuing to work with our multiplication. This is going to set us up for additional math knowledge later on, so we need to make sure we understand that. So let me go ahead and create my bar model. So here I've taken the problem 14 times 29, and what I've done is I've taken 14 and I've placed it on the vertical edge of my bar model. I have taken 14 and that 14 is the same thing as 10 plus 4. Okay? I have placed 29 on the top edge of my area representation, and I know that 20 plus 9, I can take 29 and I can create that as 20 plus 9. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the multiplication and place the answer in each of the rectangles within the larger rectangle. Notice that the size of the rectangles, although maybe not perfect, really kind of is representative of the larger versus the smaller products, partial products. I know that 10 times 20 equals 200. I know that 10 times 9 equals 90. I know that 4 times 20 equals 80. And I know that 4 times 9 equals 36. Now let me go back and just add a little bit of color to each one of these.
Robert D. come back?
And they're already gone. Yeah, Robert was banging on the back door as I was doing this. I'm like,
I wonder why I gave him my card to take.
Whose card did they take?
He took his.
Oh, maybe they wanted to. So I left him this message. I said, sorry I could not talk. Videos take all my concentration. I said, good luck with the event planner. Ask lots of questions. If all else fails, throw the lilac binder at them. And then I said, kidding. No violence. No violence, please. So Robert said, love you, Marmers. And I just said, love you back. So. In Chapter 3, the essential question that you need to be able to answer is, what strategies can you use to multiply a two-digit number? Your focus should be on the following two questions to help you. How can you use place value to multiply two-digit numbers? Second question that you want to be able to answer is, how can you choose the best method, the most efficient method, to multiply two-digit numbers? These questions will help you as you prepare for the chapter test. Here's the practice problem that I'm going to leave you with. Remember that I want you to follow the steps of problem solving. Read the problem, answer the questions, what do I need to find? What information do I need to use? How will I use that information? When you solve the problem, remember, simpler problems first and draw a bar model. Then identify your answer in a response statement. Good luck. See you tomorrow.